welcome to the Half-Blood Report.
Here we discuss recent Demigod news, upcoming presents books, questions all you listeners to answer to, and all other things writing. I'm Samuel, your co-host.
And I'm Diego, your other co-host.
So, let's jump into the Demigod news.
Tristan Strong is number 8 on the New York Times bestseller list, and that is amazing because this book is 482 pages of goodness. I am holding it right now, and the cover art is absolutely fascinating, and the content is even better. So, if you haven't picked up a copy yet or have not finished yours, why not? Go finish that right now.
All right. Yeah, it's really good. A huge congratulations to Kwame Mambalia. Definitely deserves that spot on the New York Times bestseller list. And it's a great book.
All right. Hashtag PJO TV show was trending on October 31st. We were at number 20. So, Rick Riordan has mentioned before that Disney does have the rights to Percy Jackson, and that a Percy Jackson TV show is definitely possible, but the movies didn't turn out so great, so it's really like on Disney's part whether or not they decide to do one. We would absolutely love it. We were discussing earlier that PJO TV show would just be so much better than the movies because Percy Jackson really is a book that you cannot do in 2 hours. You need a good season and a half to get through a book.
Well, okay, so I actually think that you could make a fine movie out of it. You'd have to cut like some parts, but you could make a good movie. The problem is the original Percy Jackson movies were made by Fox, and Fox thought that if they just like put a bunch of put some CGI, put some random Greek mythology, and called it the Percy Jackson movie, then they could sell it off and make some money off the book. They weren't actually trying to make a good movie based off the book. They were trying to make money, and of course, Disney is all about money, but I feel that Disney would at least realize that if they wanted to make some real money off of a Percy Jackson movie, they'd have to try to make it based off the books, and that they actually put work into it. And I think that, well, I don't know if they've been willing, if they'd actually do it, but I think they've at least learned from Fox's mistakes and know if they're going to make a movie or if they're going to make a TV show, I would actually personally prefer they have to do it right.
Yes, it also was National Authors Day a couple days ago, and we just wanted to give a big shout out and thank you to Rick Riordan. If it wasn't for him, we definitely wouldn't be around talking to you guys. But he's just one of our favorite authors, and give him a quick shout out.
Yeah, it's awesome that he gave us the Lightning Thief, he gave us everything that came after, and we're thankful. If you're listening to this podcast, you're probably thankful for it. So yeah, just thank you for National Authors Day.
Yep, we also may or may not have gotten a mention in Rick Riordan. So that was pretty nice.
Yeah, in their, so yeah, that was pretty cool in their National Authors Day article. We even got a hyperlink, man. We're so popular.
Yeah, I know. We're really moving up in the world, Sam. I think it's time to consult the Oracle.
Yes. So as we have said, in this section we look into and research a future Rick Riordan Presents book.
And this week we chose to look at Paola Santiago and the River of Tears.
So I'll read the description and then we'll talk about it, our research we did on some of the clues we got. Here's the description. Space-obsessed 12-year-old Paola Santiago and her two best friends, Emma and Dante, know the rule. Stay away from the river. It's all they've heard since a schoolmate of theirs drowned a year ago. Paola is embarrassed to admit that she's been told to stay away for even longer than that, because their mother is constantly warning her about La Llorona, the wailing ghost woman who wanders the banks of the Gila at night, looking for young people to drag into its murky depths. Hating her mother's humiliating superstitions, and knowing that she and her friends would never venture into the water, Paola organizes a meetup to test out her new telescope near the Gila, since it's the best stargazing spot. But when Emma never arrives, and Paola sees a shadowy figure in the reeds, it seems like maybe her mom was right. Paola has always relied on hard science to make sense of the world, but to find her friends, she will have to enter the world of her nightmares, which includes unnatural mist, mind-bending monsters, and relentless spirits controlled by a terrifying force that defies both logic and legend. Yeah, so the book is coming out August 4th, 2020. So it's a bit in advance, but we're excited for it, so we figured we might as well talk about it in this episode.
Well, that is quite the description. We've done our research on that Llorona, and it seems like she's really like sort of I don't know how you'd put it. It's a character that parents use to kind of scare their children into behaving properly. But really the legend varies from place to place. But the overall feel is that she drowned her children and then kind of went crazy.
And now she's looking for more children to drown.
Yep. So that might
but
be why Emma never made it.
oh yeah, so Emma is definitely going to be in a bit of a tough spot, but our heroine Paola seems ready to accept the challenge to save her friend.
Yeah. Since this is a Mexican slash southwestern mythology book, I would love to see the Chupacabra make an appearance because we all know that's the greatest monster of all time.
Remind me of what you're talking about again.
Chupacabra.
Is that like
actually?
That's like the one that like eats sheep. It's like green, right?
Yeah. Yes.
All right. I actually personally don't know that much about it. I like read like a short story in it, but you want to talk about it if you really think it's going to be in the book?
All right, yeah. Okay, so I would love to see the appearance of the Chupacabra, which, for those of you that don't know, is a kind of folktale or legend of an animal that goes around eating sheeps and sucking their blood. So that would be like my personal little thing that I would want from the book.
Yeah, and it's like green. It has like a snout. It's two-legged.
Yeah.
Sort of aquatic. I know all of this because like my sister, she bought this game that has like a bunch of it's like a labyrinth, but like your token, everyone chooses a different token, but your token is a monster, and there's a book with a description of all the monsters, and the Chupacabra was one of them.
All right, I think it's time to Odin and Athena.
You're not gonna talk about my. Okay, walking right past.
About what?
About my game. It's a labyrinth because you have to spin the dial, and then like you might have to fight other monsters in the labyrinth, and then whoever made out of the labyrinth first won.
Wait, is that your game?
The game that I played with my sister, because I was the Chupacabra and I won the game.
Okay, well, Sam, now we're getting off topic again.
So,
Sam, can we just get through this segment,
to mythology.
please?
I don't see what's wrong, but okay. So,
so I'd love to see the Chupacabra make an appearance and or cameo.
Okay, so
anything else you want to add, Sam?
So La Llorona, she drowns children. So I feel that we're going to be a very it's going to be adventure that takes is around the water a lot. And actually, the original title for the book was Paola Santiago and the Drowned Place, and not the River of Tears. So either way, we know that there's going to be a lot of dealing with water. We're probably going to see some sort of boat as a transportation device, and I'm sure we're going to maybe I'm not actually sure about this, but I think it's not too far off of a theory to learn that Paola has some sort of power over the water, because I'm sure water and sort of aquatic life is going to be a huge theme of the book scene. And not only has Paola lived close to a river her whole life, she's going into a drowned place and an underwater world.
Yeah, well, Definitely, it's an interesting move to change the title.
Yeah, I wonder what the thought process was behind that. I really do.
I think it's time to Odin and
So, as
Athena.
we've said, in this section, we propose a question related to Riordan to contemplate.
And what's this week's question, Samuel?
So, this week's question is that. So, Rick Riordan has often said that uh, Rick Riordan Presents is not connected to his universe and his characters, all right? Which is good. It basically says, like, these are these author stories, they control their characters. But, because we can always dream, what character, what two characters from any of the Rick Riordan Presents books or from Rick Riordan's books would you like to see a crossover of?
Ooh. Well, I have just finished with Tristan Strong, and I absolutely love him. So I would definitely like to see maybe a Tristan Strong crossover with the Percy Jackson universe. Um, and I also feel like it would be super interesting to see maybe like a Sal and Gabby crossover with how do you say it, the Kane Chronicles, because with the Duat involved, it was really like about other dimensions and other worlds and other universes. Um, I feel like Sal and Gabby is really like based around that other like parallel dimension thing. So I think it'd be really interesting to kind of see Sal kind of talk to Carter about other dimensions and other worlds.
Yeah, so as I was thinking about this, so I think that's like a great choice, Sal and Gabby and the Canes. But as I was thinking about this, I so immediately what I wanted Aru Shah and Percy Jackson because I just feel their like humor styles as they inner monologue are so similar, and I like wondered like how what they talk about. But then I realized like Percy's like 17, 18, 19. I'm not sure, one of those. And then Aru is like 12. And so
If not less.
there's like a huge age gap there. And so I feel like, sure, you can pick your characters that you like the most to meet, but then you also have to like, what characters would like have the most interesting interaction? And so then I moved on because I still thought about Arusha, but I thought maybe Meg McCaffrey and Arusha,
Oh,
like,
that'd be
because I
really
feel
interesting.
they're just the same. Because Meg, I feel she's actually super similar to Arusha. She's just always described by Apollo to be like a little idiot, even though we're obviously getting a very biased opinion from Apollo, so we can't always be too sure.
Yeah. No, definitely. Now that you've got me thinking about kind of like that age gap or maybe other things, maybe seeing like a Zane Avispo and Tristan crossover would be interesting because they're both not similar characters, but both like dealing with grief in their story. I have not read the Firekeeper, so if I like missed out on something there, just hold me to it.
Um, yeah, we obviously haven't covered like all the best options, but there are plenty of like different crossovers we could just think about as fans. None of them will probably ever happen, um, unless the Rick Riordan Presents team wants to like do an epic crossover book that they like all work on together. That would be awesome.
That would be amazing, but not very
Yes.
realistic.
Um, but so we obviously don't have the time to talk about all the awesome crossovers that we'd like to see happen. So if you have one that you're upset that we didn't think about right here and now, tweet us at the at on tweet at us on Twitter at half reports.
Yeah. So, speaking of social media and Twitter, we included a new segment in today's episode that we like to call Mimir's Well. You ask a question, and your punishment is to have to subscribe to us. It's kind of like a life full of devotion and like slavery, but tad bit better.
Diego thinks he's very funny.
So this week's question, yeah, okay. This week's question was from Ryan, and if you wanna catch him, that's at Daranaro1. But he asked, will there be a series that takes place after Trials of Apollo for the Greek and Roman characters, or is Trials the end for them? So we discussed this in depth in our last episode. But just kind of a short answer for you, Ryan, is no. But Uncle Rick may probably write some smaller or short story books with individual characters. So like an origin story for Nico from when he came and like what happened to him, what his early life looked like. Maybe seeing more from Hazel, since we have a lot of like time warps there. But something of that sort, as opposed to another series of books afterwards.
Yeah.
Seeing as he has already killed off most of them.
Well, most of them. To add on, I guess when you said no,
R.I.P. Frank.
Nothing has been fully confirmed. It's just, like, if the fact that nothing's been confirmed and we're like almost done with the Trials of Apollo series, kind of gives it away that Uncle Rick is like done writing the Roman and Greek characters. But we never know. So we could be wrong, and we could end up getting a happy surprise in the next 2 years of a fourth series on the Greek and Roman characters.
And that's it for this episode of the Half-Blood Report. Samuel, how can I contact this podcast?
You can contact us with compliments, questions, corrections, suggestions, or anything else at thehalfbloodreport@gmail.com.
That said, it's time for credits. Our theme music is Smells Like Summer from Audio Library, and our recording equipment is on loan from William Bachman.
My co-host here is Diego, and I'm Samuel.
This is the Half-Blood Report podcast, the only HBO that matters. Survive till next week.